each page that he reviewed, and he had pencil and ink or pencil corrections in the margins, but he never signed it. But if you ask for a copy of it now, his signature is at the bottom. So we don't know how his signature got on it. But the Court of Inquiry report was submitted also to Captain, at the time, Captain Merlin Starring, who was the legal advisor to Admiral John S. McCain, the father of Senator McCain. He was given about 6 hours to review the report and issue his findings, and he said he couldn't do it, not in that period of time, because of the gross mistakes that were in the report. So that report was taken away from him, and somebody else did the review. In 2005, we found out about a law of war program, the Department of Defense Law of War program, which requires the U.S. government, the Department of Defense, to conduct investigations of all war crimes, all alleged war crimes, whether committed by or against the United States. So we prepared a war crimes report, and we submitted it to the Department of Defense, and they respond and they say, we don't have to investigate these allegations because we already did. And then we ask them when. And the U.S. Navy conducted a court of inquiry back in 1967. We say, okay, show us in the report where these allegations are addressed. And they says, we can't do it, but we know that they looked at them because they signed the report. So needless to say, it's things like that made us more questioning about the U.S. government's policies. So I knew what the Israelis were capable of doing, and I knew what the U.S. government would do as a result of what the Israelis did, and that is, in fact, what they did do, nothing. So get back to the Freedom Flotilla. As I said, over 700 participants were there from 36 countries, and I think it's important for me to list all of the countries because I think it's significant. Algeria, Australia, Bahrain, Belgium, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Canada, Egypt, France, Germany, Greece, Indonesia, Ireland, Italy, Jordan, Kosovo, Kuwait, Lebanon, Macedonia, Malaysia, Mauritania, Morocco, New Zealand, Norway, Oman, Pakistan, Palestine, Poland, Serbia, South Africa, Spain, Sweden, Syria, Turkey, the United Kingdom, United States of America, and Yemen. 9 were dead, as I said, 1 American, and 50 were injured. To get to the May Day massacre, as I call it, directly, on May 31st, about 2 o'clock, we got a radio traffic from, all the ships got radio traffic from the Israelis saying you're entering or you're violating Israeli restricted spaces, restricted area. You're ordered to leave immediately, and so my captain responded by asking him, give us the boundaries of the area so we'll know where they are, and they didn't respond to that. But our captain ordered us at that time to put on our life jackets. Then about 4 o'clock, Israeli soldiers started boarding our ship from the rear. At the time I was down below. I had my life jacket on, and somebody was saying, well, they're here. They screamed, they're here, so we all ran up to the lobby area. I was on the Svendonia. I forgot to mention that. And if you want to know which one that was, if you see pictures of the ships, the one with the 8,000 written on the side, that was the ship I was on, and it was a converted Dutch torpedo boat, as a matter of fact, so I felt right at home. We all ran up to the lobby area, and I heard these ping, ping, ping on the side of the window, so I thought, hey, let me go outside and see what's going on. So I walk outside, like an idiot, on the left, the port side, and I was standing there with 2 other guys, and I heard the ping, ping, ping off to my left. And I looked over, and all of a sudden I felt this sting on my side. And I looked down and says, hey, that's yellow. It's not supposed to be there. I better get out of here. So I walk into I go as quickly as I can into the lobby area, and by that time they were already aboard. They were with full battle dress, of course, automatic weapons. Their faces were masked, and in my experience, they were. It might seem odd coming from somebody who was there. They were very polite to me. They said, "Please sit down, and please shut up." And when, it sounds okay, but when somebody's pointing an M16 at you, when they say that, it takes on a different aspect. Well, while I was down there, they were upstairs, topside, taking in the pilot house where the other members of the flotilla were. Some of them, about half of them, I guess. And just to give you an example, the soldiers broke the windows, they tasered, threw stun guns, fired paint pellets, and beat us with batons. And 2 of the stun grenades went off in a enclosed space. So when they try to claim that there was no violence on any of the other ships, there was violence on all the ships. And we were probably lucky that the same thing didn't happen to us that happened to the Mavi Marmara. We were down in the lobby area. Once they had secured the ship, then they took us all topside to the upper deck. I was sitting next to a reporter from Al Jazeera who still had his telephone, so we tried to hide him as much as we could, and he got a brief report off to Al Jazeera. I think it was done live, but the Israelis detected that he had a telephone, and they immediately took it away from him. Right after that, they started pulling all of us aside, and they took all of any cameras, recording equipment, any pencils, paper, anything like that. They put it in a bag. The cameras, they wrote down our names and our passport numbers and put it on a tape and put it on the camera. I don't know why. They never intended on giving it back to us, and then they just threw it in a bag. Then we moved below decks after all that took place into the lobby area where we sat with the shades were drawn, and we started about a 6-hour trip to Ashdod. During that time, the Israelis just stood around, with their video cameras and all that stuff, and they prepared some of our food for us to feed us, and they started passing it out. And we basically told them, we're not going to eat while your cameras are on, so they turned them off. And we got back to, we arrived in Ashdod, and I think we were the second ship. The Challenger was there first, but when we arrived, they told us that we could only take with us our passports and our medicine. So they took us off one at a time. I was right behind Ed Peck, who is Jewish, by the way. He is a retired U.S. ambassador. I was right behind him. And the plan for the 5 Americans that were on there was Ed and I were to immediately, if we're given the choice of jail or deportation, we would immediately be, take the deportation so we could get back to the States and start talking about it. And Ed and the rest of them would, Paul, Jean St. Ange, and Janet Coben, another of our Jewish participants, would say, no, we'll go to jail. So we went up and we talked to the guy, and he said, talked to one of the interviewers and said, all you have to do is, you have 2 choices, one to be deported today and one to go to jail for 3 days and then be deported. So Ed and I picked the be deported today. Then we went to a brief medical, not a survey, just asking a few questions. And I talked to the doctor, and she saw some of the medicines I was taking, and she says, oh, you're taking antidepressants. And she said, yeah, why are you taking it? And I says, oh, I just got a little PTSD. And she says, oh, why do you have PTSD? And I said, you don't want to know. And she said, yes, I do. So I told her I was on the USS Liberty June 8th, 1967, when the Israelis attacked it,